Hello, hi, and welcome again to the Terminal Podcast, where in the end, it's all about the numbers. I am your host. We are broadcasting high above Civic Center Station, and the numbers around Metro Atlanta are 17 north, 400 to the perimeter, 17 west on 20 to Six Flags, and 18 south on 7585 to the airport. If you're just flying in, we are less than a fortnight away from the All-Star game taking place north on 75 in Cobb County. But this is a show about baseball, so without further ado, we'll start on the mound like every baseball game does. Recapping the latest Mets starting cycle, let's get into the numbers. Chris, I know have all the Mets numbers from the latest three-game series against the Pirates in hand, ready to go, right?
Yep. No, I did hear on the radio today that it is the worst run
Three-game
differential
series.
series in Mets history. Did I hear that correctly?
That is correct. 30-4 was the final tally. So
Ooh.
26. Yeah. Peterson, Blackburn, Frankie Montas, between the three of them, they pitched 9 and 2/3 innings. That's just the starters. Yeah, obviously they went 0-3, no innings, not enough innings from anybody, and zero kinds of quality starts out of those three. I focus on the pitching because that's what I do each and every week. It's been pretty bad for these past 2 to 3 weeks. So you are in the heart of it with uh, uh, I can only imagine. I mean, I get the occasional post that's like, well, this is somebody said, but I don't read or pay
Mhm.
attention to what they're actually truly saying on the fan, what they're truly spitting out in terms of how bad it is and how this is the worst thing ever and they might as well just burn the whole franchise to the ground. What does it sound like in
Well,
in the
I
New
mean,
York
that's
metro
true.
area?
That's true. Um, well, and I'm not going to go that far, but you had texted me today, said something about white people. I don't know. What did it say? Um, Oh, I said the Mets suck, and you said I know, but since both New York teams have 40 wins, how special is the Mets suck in comparison? And here's why it sucks. And I know you're going to try to make excuses because you're Mr. Met.
Okay.
This is it. This is what you got Uncle Stevie for. To go get Juan Soto and have the
Mhm.
highest payroll in baseball and be the
Mhm.
big bad franchise. And now I'm not saying the season's not over. I'm not. I still think the
Mhm.
Mets will make the playoffs. But there's no excuses anymore. I mean, I know Kodai Senga. There's no. This is it. This is what Big Stevie was brought on for, and going at Juan Soto for, and signing him to a massive extension and keeping it like. So there's no more excuses. That's why I think the Mets fan is upset the way they are locally.
That there's no more excuses, meaning we can't blame these losses on anything other than the crappy team play.
Right.
Okay. So
You can't say, "Oh, we don't. Our owners lost money in the Ponzi scheme thing." No,
I
this is
see.
it.
Yeah. I no,
You have the
I
highest payroll in baseball. That comes with
yeah.
expectations. Take it from a guy who's rooting
Ah.
for a team with. I don't say they're realistic necessarily,
Well,
but
see
that's what
that
it comes with.
that's what
But
I was
sports
gonna
fan, but sports fandom isn't realistic. So
well,
throw
that's
that
what I
out
was
the
gonna
window.
ask you. I no, it's gonna I literally was about to ask this question. Well, it's part of what I was sitting there going is I I'll when did World Series come into I mean, at the beginning of this season, it was the lineup's going to carry this team, but the pitching staff is atrocious. They have no starting pitching. They only have they have Minter and Diaz in the bullpen, and that's about it. So they're a playoff team, but not a World Series team. So when did that change?
Oh, I mean, and you may not agree with this, but in the general Mets fan's mind, in the zeitgeist of the New York area Met fan, the day
Mhm.
they signed Juan Soto, pitching staff be damned.
But I I guess, and that the absurdity of that is what leaves me with pause because it's like, well, what it, that doesn't there's no logic, and that's I guess it's I guess I don't want to say the educated Met shouldn't
Again, and
follow
I
it,
know
but
this. This isn't logical, but Yankees hadn't made a World Series since 2009. They got Juan Soto. They went to the World Series. Then Juan Soto signs the biggest free agent contract in the history of baseball with the Mets. So, ergo, therefore, the Mets should go to the World Series.
Okay. All right. Well, you know
Again, I'm
what?
not saying it's a logical argument, but
No, but I'm forgetting, and I is goes back to you can call me Marty Optimist. Is the thing about it is they you just because this is the thing, and they'll I won't be alone. I'll be the first one saying it this year, but it's you just got to get to the playoffs at this point. It doesn't make it, this is you have to make it there and then have the arm strength, the 1, 2, 3 starters to get to the next round, and then a close down bullpen to close out games and blah 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 blah. So
this is what the baseball detractors will say about the current playoff system is
mhm,
the realistically Mets fans don't have to worry. There's still a trade deadline to come up,
yeah.
in which likely there will be moves made, and you're going to make the playoffs, right? And all you got to do is get in the show.
So you're talking. I'm asking this from distance because I focus on pitching because that's what I do. I'm a high school catcher for a little bit before they told me a junior was much better. But it's been bad these last 2, 3 weeks. They're still in the hunt. They're still top of the wild card, everything like that. Here's my question to you: why aren't the cries louder about the abysmal hitting that was bad during the 3 weeks, like the 4 runs scored against the Pirates in this? I mean, like they did give up 30 runs, but they only scored 4 against the Pirates. They've been abysmal offensively with runners in scoring position, with situational hitting all
No,
year.
stop. We stop. Would you people stop with the situational hitting, please?
Stop what?
It doesn't exist. Why won't you people understand that?
It's called runners in scoring position. That's
It
the
doesn't
situation.
situational hitting. They don't adjust their swing. It's the same swing on every pitch, regardless of whether there's runners on base or not. I don't. We've had this argument a million times in this podcast. I don't know why you and Ron De Blasio won't get this.
Because it doesn't make any sense.
But okay,
It's
it doesn't make any
illogical.
sense.
But because
It doesn't make any sense when you're winning a playoff basketball game by 25 points to keep chucking up 3 pointers, but everybody does it.
it keeps throwing up threes. Yeah, that's fair. It's just
Yeah, I
that
mean, they're with
is.
runners in scoring position, but don't say situational hit. There's not moving the runners over. They
Oh yeah,
don't.
no. I'm not talking about that. That is a ship that has sailed, certainly. I'm talking about second and third, nobody out. That runner at least one run has to score, if not both runs, because you can do that by still making it out.
If you hit a home run, they score. If you don't hit a home run, they don't score.
If you hit a sac fly, they score. If you
But
hit,
they don't try for sack flies.
but you can still be trying for a home run. I guess in the other that comes back to what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, that's right. Not striking out, just putting the
Right.
ball in play, not putting the ball in play as opposed to, striking out where nothing can happen. That's positive. And all right,
So yeah, their hitting has been bad. Their pitching though was so surprising. I think, and the hitting, yeah. I mean, the 4 young guys.
mhm.
I mean, I'll say Mauricio. Not that you were counting on him, but he's now come up. But Beatty,
Mhm.
Mauricio, who's the other guy? I can't think of the other third baseman.
Well, they've had Luis
The guy who hit all
Herrera.
the home runs last year is a rookie or second
Oh,
year guy.
Vientos
Not
is up. Yeah,
Vientos.
yeah.
And then
And,
I want now we got to go back and find the archives. I
okay,
warned you about this. I warned you about Francisco Alvarez. I warned you.
okay.
I said don't rely on a catcher to be a run producer.
Oh. Well, yeah. I would have if you said
No,
that.
you
I
said
would
I
have.
have the catcher on my team for the next 12 years. We had an
Oh,
argument about it last summer.
I still think he's. I'm look. Them sending him down. You thinking he's done now? Is that what it
No,
is?
I'm not
Or
saying he's done, but everything's a 1 year proposition nowadays in
I
sports.
see. Okay. All right. I I hope my
Because
team.
Gary Sanchez is batting 170 for his 15 right now in the Orioles.
It's
And if 6 years ago you would have told the Yankee fan that, they would have put you in an insane asylum.
yeah, yeah. It's depressing because that's the one thing you have with sports is that, at the very least with baseball is that people are going to be around, like the
There's like three good players anymore. I'm
all right.
convinced everything in this world is just different shades of mediocre.
Which is a perfect transition to recapping the NBA postseason because the it was a game 7, and yet are you more surprised that the Thunder won or disappointed that it was a game 7 that was just about as mediocre as possible? Did
Disappointed that they went to a game 7 because the Thunder, if they could have won it in 5 games, could have staked a claim to being one of the best single season teams of all time from
record
their regular
wise,
season to their playoff run. But then they just looked very average in the finals.
well, I could argue, wasn't that facade shaken when it took them 7 games to take care of a Denver team who is still playing at Jamal Murray at a high voltage? We need you to be the man.
Well, no, but that's what I'm
Stadium.
saying. If they could have then rebounded and then dealt with the Pacers pretty easily,
I see. Okay,
then
because
you could
that
say, all
was
right, they had one stumbling block against the best player in the world. Like
yes, yeah, yeah.
that's nothing to hang your head off, you
It's a
know?
viable excuse. Yeah, we went 7 against the best player in the world, and then we ran past everybody else.
Yeah,
Good.
in the
Yes,
regular season and the postseason.
unfortunately. So, with that being said, and the immediate transition to the off season, so it seems like everybody's doing the signing and everything like that now because the NBA season ended like yesterday, and then the draft happened, and now everybody's doing all this signing and stuff. So, did ESPN? And I'm turning this to a question as opposed to the statement I was going to make it before. Did ESPN co conspire with LeBron James to make it where he's going to be a Laker next year? Sure, yeah. But when the Lakers are in, I don't know, eighth or seventh place because they're paying him and Doncic and however much and blah, 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 or they're just the Lakers and they're not that great, that are they going to trade LeBron? Where's LeBron going to go? Will LeBron finish the season? So I'll start in as they're getting ready, as they're already, because isn't the new ESPN app start in 2026? Isn't that year?
Yes.
So you'd have where's LeBron going to go for the entire start of 2026 into the trade deadline, into the NBA playoffs?
Yeah.
Is that as and as you're
I,
pitch as you're pitching the NBA as the only, that in the NFL the only things we got, and the NFL's done January 1, 2026. I mean, we got the playoffs, but everybody's got the playoffs. So we're talking playoffs, but
no.
I mean, it doesn't that I just, I was thinking about it like that. Isn't that kind of fit in? Because I was hearing they were talking about on PTI, LeBron took the 1 year deal and he's going to make 53 million. And I guess
Right.
there was some question about
Right.
whether he should and shouldn't take, which I'm like, that's just, go ahead.
I
I'm
wonder
sorry.
what the Vegas odds are on whether LeBron ends the season with the Lakers or not.
That is the bet to take because I'm unless, yeah, I don't know. But
Coach, coach, the perfect end to this story.
mhm.
Where does he go back to?
I don't like the Cleveland thing. I'd rather him go to Golden State and play
I'm
for the
just
best
saying, but
player for the team.
Cleveland is an up and coming team. They were very good this year. They're going to be very good again next year.
And the East is wide open. That was the other thing I
And the
was
East
gonna.
is wide open because nobody has an Achilles.
That's what I was.
Well, the one guy that has an Achilles doesn't have a coach because they randomly decided to fire their coach.
So
Now they're just interviewing people on the street for the damn Knicks coaching job.
thought that the latest one was Mike Brown, the guy who
Oh,
he was
yeah, they
the coach in
interviewed him.
Cleveland, the guy
And
in
then
Cleveland.
Sacramento. Oh my God, Mike Brown. Please.
So
There's rumors. Did you see the rumors yesterday that they reached out to Dawn Staley?
no, you're
Yeah.
lying. Is that
Someone
getting
called the radio like a week ago and goes, "Can we just hire Tom Thibodeau back?" Like,
as I was gonna say, is that getting with the season being over, is that getting the attention it deserves with the fact that the Knicks made it? Well, they what made it to the conference finals, right?
mhm,
And that's the first time since
mhm.
it's not been that long to get to the conference finals, has it? You're looking at me and asking as if I know. I'm curious as that I don't follow the Knicks. But yeah, wow. Okay.
um,
I'm Go ahead. I'm trying to.
you still hung out with a lot of white people.
Okay.
You may have just finished your tenure as a Terrier the last time they made the NBA Finals.
Well, they didn't make okay, but the Eastern they didn't make yes, that
Oh,
was
the
the
Eastern
mistake.
Conference
The
Finals. The
Eastern
next year they
Conference
made no.
Finals.
The next year they made the Eastern Conference Finals, 2000, and that was it.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. Huh.
you were in Portland, Oregon. How long ago was that? Think about
Yeah,
that.
that's yeah, that's a lifetime ago.
That's a lifetime ago.
That's legitimately a lifetime ago. I know
That's a
two
lifetime
different
ago.
lifetimes we could talk about. So
To paraphrase Cosmo Kramer about El Paso, Texas, he said, I love this quote. I think it's actually more intelligent than he gets credit for. He says, El Paso, ooh, I spent a month there one night, right?
it I yeah, I well, that's a place in Missouri for me, but
Right.
there
Those
those
places at some
those
point in our
places
life.
yeah, it's wow. Um
Mm-mm.
no, I'm baffled and speechless about the fact that I guess it's
Yeah, they would fire the coach.
the combination of the intelligence, I guess I don't know, it can't just be the fortune because this was kind of crafted in some sort to put this team together. And so the intelligence to put the team together, and then the ineptitude is the only word I can use to just
Well, it's an owner move, which this clearly people weren't sure whether it was the owner move, but now it's clearly obvious because the guy that runs the basketball operations, Leon Rose, has been tremendous since he's been there. And Jim Dolan stuck his stupid hands in and said, "You need to fire the coach." And they didn't have a plan because Leon Rose wasn't planning on firing Tom Thibodeau. So
all right.
this smacks of owner meddling.
I am going to transition from owner meddling to which is league ownership meddling, which is the easiest way to say does does Caitlin Clark and the Fever have to like win the title and then serve as like the big bad to generate enough interest for you to pay some sort of attention?
And soon.
Hmm?
I said, and soon. Yes,
And soon.
I think her steam of carrying the sport is just starting to crest.
So, but she's got through this season, basically. I was gonna say, like, she's got the All-Star game, I guess, where she's got to.
Yeah, I mean maybe next season, maybe, but if she doesn't win or become,
Oh no, no, I'm saying she's got this season. Like, I'm saying she's got this year. She's got this year completely, where everybody's still on
yeah,
board. Is
yeah,
my
still
point.
into it. But next
Yeah.
year, if she doesn't win or do something really spectacular, yeah, that
So
you're
she's
gonna watch Angel Reese miss layups. I mean, is that
yeah, I
what
was gonna say
you?
she's got to reach the finals. Is basically what it comes down to this year. At the very least, she's got to drag that audience with her to the finals of the. So at the very least, whoever beats them, then
Right.
you've got the storyline of next year. Well, Caitlin got there, but now they're the Aces or whoever is right. The Vegas Aces aren't those the defending?
Yeah,
Or
them
so it's
and
the
New York are the
Liberty.
two best teams. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of those two. Uh, I'm bringing up Caitlin Clark because the FIFA club championship in another sport that is on the edge, which I'm get to at the very end of it. It's taking place, there's little fanfare, except in locations where the games are actually taking place by the fans of those
I knew
teams
that was
in
happening,
that
by the way.
location.
I knew this was happening.
Well, that's what it would. That was how would that not be expected unless you, I don't know, anticipated. I don't know what you would anticipate, but I bring all that up to say you may have heard about it because you can't avoid Messi and the pink shirts and everything like that. And he's drawn eyes to the pink shirts and to the gear and the cash and everything like that. What is the American equivalent of Caitlin Clark, of Lionel Messi for the MLS?
What do you
Or
mean?
is what would be the equivalent? You know what I mean? Like Caitlin Clark showed up in the WNBA and took a sport that had been there for 20 some odd years because we saw Samika
Well,
Holtz
I
play.
mean,
So
it's Pulisic, right? It's
is it though? If it was, then he, so you're telling me he comes back, he comes back and says, I'm gonna leave Chelsea, I'm gonna come and play at the Metro Stars, whatever they're called in New York, and everybody's gonna suddenly start watching? No, because
I think
yeah.
no, because I know he's not going to come here and play in the professional leagues because they're not as good. I get that,
Mm-hmm.
but he needs to have a I don't want to say transcendent World Cup next year when it's here, but he needs to be like, where would you rank? Just give me a roundabout number. Where would you rank Christian Pulisic right now in the world in soccer?
Uh, top, probably top 100, maybe.
Okay, I
Definitely
was going to
top.
say top 50. I think, but
Somewhere around. I'm not gonna. You could sell me on top 50. I'm not gonna. You
okay,
have the,
okay,
yeah, top 100, sure. Top 50,
right.
maybe, but go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
he needs to play in the World Cup like one of the top 20 players in the world.
Okay, but
And if he does that, the U.S. will have success, some success.
that's not what I'm, and that's fine. I was about to let you answer the question, but what I'm asking for is the American equivalent of Caitlin Clark for
Yeah,
the
but it's never going to
MLS.
happen because they can make so much more money elsewhere. I mean, you know the reason why.
So
Christian
there,
Pulisic's not going to come here and play in the prime of his career.
okay. So I mean,
Whose kid is
I'm
on the team? Isn't some former athlete's kid on the team? Some like baseball player, like
on
Kenny
the nas
Lofton's
on
kid
the
or something?
national
Yeah.
team. Yeah, because I just saw him last night, and he
Or former football player? Who is it?
oh, it's Antonio Bennett's kid. No, no, Antonio
Yes. Oh no,
Harrison.
Antonio
Harrison.
Freeman. Antonio
Freeman,
Freeman, the
because he looks
receiver.
just like
Yes.
him. He looks just like him.
Does
I'm
he?
sure
I
I know.
heard the name the other day and they said Antonio Freeman's kid. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he looks. If you saw him, you'd be like, "Oh my gosh!" He just shrinked him down a little bit, and yeah, no, but my point is, which you're not getting it. If all right, I'll use him as an example. If
Dude,
Freeman,
stop. Stop.
what?
We're not going to care about soccer. Cut it. Cut it. Stop it.
You're
Stop.
talking too close to the mic. So
It's going to be where it is. It's where it is. It's in a good spot in the States. That's all it's going to be.
so if I was going
Learn
to
to live
rank
with it like hockey has.
if I was going to rank the order of sports as we're going right now, and this was the whole point of that, is it's NFL one, and then there's a distant second, which is college football, and then there's a fight for third. I'd argue it's baseball, but NBA, sure, fine, for everybody likes highlights. Baseball's in four, so then who's five? Because I gave you WNBA with Caitlin Clark. It's obviously not MLS. Is it hockey still? Is it college
I
basketball?
would
Is
say
it
the
something
five spot
else?
is sort of debatable. Like I think it's hockey. I think it's men's college basketball. I think it's the WNBA. I think it's MLS. I think it's all jumbled up.
Well, that was
Neither of
basically
the individual ones, golf and tennis.
no. In fact, golf, tennis. You know, I'm curious about golf because I hear Kornheiser talk golf with him and his son. It's like, so it's a sport amongst those who play it, but if you don't play it, you know what I mean? It's like no
No,
one, you don't, people don't go to the horse track, but they pay attention to the Kentucky Derby. You know what I mean? It's like they make that a
no, they
thing.
pay attention to the big golf tournaments, but there's not a transcendent star. There's not a Tiger Woods. You know what? You know who's the next transcendent star? Hopefully,
Uh,
Charlie Woods.
oh,
His son. His son's going to play pro golf. His son's very good. His
oh,
son's not Tiger, not Tiger,
well, not everybody can be. So,
but he's a really good player. He's going to play on the PGA Tour. Like he's good. He's really good. But maybe because Tiger will be around,
mhm.
it'll give it a little juice.
It would. I mean, I'm not posing this because Coco, what's it, Coco Golf? She's only like 22. For some reason, I thought she was a lot older. She's like 22, 23
Yeah, she's young. Yeah,
because because I follow enough, top four Grand Slam tennis to know she's been in Wimbledon for the past 5, 6 years. So it's like her name's been out there, but I forgot that she started out at 17 because that's what you do when you in women's tennis
right.
is you're at your peak at 17, 18 years old. So even
Well,
even if
they're
she
peaking. Well, their peak
well,
is lasting longer.
yes, but you're good enough at the sport to be able to play it at the highest level as a teenager is is
Right.
is the thing. So if and I'm once again I'm trying to find someone for that 5 slot. If Coco wins I mean, if Coco just runs off for the next
She
four or
needs to run
five,
off like 3 or 4. Yeah.
and even that would just kind of get women's tennis a little higher up, but it's already ahead of men's tennis at this point. Like,
Well,
who would
men's
you
tennis
say?
in America, because, you know, worldwide, I mean, I just happened to have nothing to do the day of the French Open final, and I watched the entire 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was as good a sport as you'll like.
I watched that too. That's
I mean, that was
crazy.
fucking outrageous. And those two guys both have multiple majors already. Alcaraz has 4 or 5. Sinner has 2 or 3. Like
That's it.
they're just gonna Federer Nadal it for the next 10 years. Men's tennis
Un-
hopes
until Djokovic shows up and says, "Wait a second, I'm better than both of you."
into who?
A Djokovic shows up
Oh yeah, and then the Joker showed up. Yeah,
and says,
but
"I'm better than both of you because I've beaten both of you on your surface
yeah,
and this other surface." Yeah, yeah. So I'll come back to. So who do you think is the greatest tennis player of all time in your mind?
I
Men's
still think
tennis
it's
player.
Federer.
Okay, not not Djokovic. I
I think Federer could have played longer and won a bunch more if he wanted to.
okay, that's fair.
He
But
was the
it's
most. He was the most skilled of all of them.
yeah,
I mean, he was precision.
and
Yeah,
Djokovic just is almost like what's the man in Rocky Four who's just
Drago.
trained. Yeah, he's just trained. Literally, he
Yeah.
just seems like
And he
he's
played
just.
longer. He did. So, and I'm not saying he didn't deserve to win the championships. He did. He absolutely. I mean, he won
Oh
them
yeah,
against
no,
younger players.
yeah, because nobody seems to like him. I went back on all that, and I'll end with a trivia question. I'm slowly building my excitement for our 30-year anniversary, or to paraphrase Jeremy Piven, the "I've peaked and I'm kidding myself" party. I'll make this. That's from Gross Point Blank, but I'll make this two-part question because I can. Prior to a year prior to us walking in royal blue robes across the elevated stage, with an interesting view for anyone glancing underneath your sheet, since I'm sure you went commando. Piven starred in the politically ahead of its time college comedy PCU with John Favreau and what underappreciated SNL cast member?
David Spade.
That is correct. That is correct. around that same time, the strike short. I completely forgot that the '94 strike shortened season that strips Montreal of
August
their
14th, maybe was when they
of
locked
their
him.
well
Lock. It
of
was a
their
lockout. It was not a strike.
oh,
The owners
it was a
locked him out.
lockout. It was a lockout. Yeah, but it delayed the start of the '95 season.
It did.
So the Yankees returning to the postseason in '95, they win 79 games, but that is enough to be in first place. They had a four-headed monster at the top, as far as the four-headed veteran monster at the top. Those four won a total of 47 games of the 79 you guys win. These four guys, who was the wins leader and how many did he earn despite not having the best ERA of the quartet?
For the 95 Yankees,
The 95 Yankees. Ding, ding, ding,
I'm missing the guy I'm saying is going to be second. I'm missing who the best pitcher was on that staff. Tony wasn't there yet. I'm going to say Jimmy Key.
All right, you're gonna go with Jimmy Key. How many wins did Jimmy Key have? You're looking it up on your phone, cheater. How many wins did he have? The
Pitcher
number I
before I
was
punch it off.
asking.
That's right. 18.
18. 18 is the number. Thank you for listening to two TH grads taking over the latest Mets up. I'll be back soon enough with hopefully something better to put down. Take it easy down your life's highway and have a good evening.